and gentlemen,
this is 3 Count Review.
Do I have everybody's attention now?
Welcome everyone to 3 Count Review. I am KO, aka Howard J. Dingers, and today we are talking about SmackDown Live. This was a very good episode of SmackDown Live, par for the course for Tuesday nights. They have been very good the past couple weeks, despite one episode which was but SmackDown's been really good lately, and it continued on tonight. A lot of storylines being progressed, a lot of new storylines starting up, even though we're 2 weeks out from SummerSlam. But I think those storylines that they started tonight, they'll be able to be just built in 2 weeks before we get to SummerSlam. So, very excited for SummerSlam. Let's get into the show. Shane McMahon opened the show in a vertical camera shot. It was really weird because Shane was cutting his promo saying how he's not at the arena for SmackDown in a vertical camera shot. But then there were highlights of Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens in a horizontal shot. It didn't blend well together. It was I think Shane just kind of shot it, and then the producers were like, oh no, all right, well, we'll make it work. It looked really bad, but it was Shane McMahon. Shane just said he's not going to be there, and you can blame Kevin Owens for that, which the crowd cheered. It was pretty good. So then we had Kevin Owens coming out to actually start the show, and he comes out and he says, nobody panic. Shane won't be here tonight, but I think we can all pull through and get through this together. He said, we'll all be okay. Very good stuff from Kevin Owens. He said, hey Shane, since you're gone, maybe SmackDown will actually be about what it's supposed to be about and not about your stupid face. He said maybe it'll actually be about the talent. And he said, this is not your ring, this is not your show, this is the Kevin Owens show. Good stuff. Out comes Drew McIntyre, and McIntyre, all he said was, you talk too much, and then they fight. And that was about it. They brawled for a little bit. It was mostly McIntyre beating up Kevin Owens, and then McIntyre announced that Shane made a match for McIntyre versus Kevin Owens for tonight, and that match starts right now. Drew McIntyre versus Kevin Owens, and these two work very well together, apparently, because this was a very, very fun match. It went through 2 commercial breaks. One was a split screen ad break, but just a great match. It ended up, Drew went for a Claymore, but Kevin reversed it into a super kick. Drew then kicked out of a pop-up powerbomb, which was a big spot because it's been a while since we've A, seen that move, and B, seen anyone kick out of that move. So that was actually a really cool spot. It actually made McIntyre look really strong. And then Drew hit a air raid from the top rope onto Kevin Owens. KO kicked out of that. And then they went out to the table, and I think Drew was going to put KO through the table. He hit a stunner on Drew on the table. That doesn't make any sense. It's so WWE. Just because it's on the table doesn't mean it's going to hurt. Whatever. And then Kevin threw Drew back into the ring and hit another stunner. 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens wins clean over Drew McIntyre, which was really good. You could tell that they're really putting over my boy KO here. And yeah, very excited for that. Then we had an interview with Dolph Ziggler, and they recapped Ziggler super kicking HBK last week. Why is it all of a sudden such a big deal that Dolph is using the Sweet Chin music? Because he's been doing that for a while now. Like, am I crazy here? Or like, he's been tuning up the band and hitting the super kick for a long time now. And he hits one super kick on HBK, and now it's all of a sudden a big deal. And we'll come back to that too, because he uses it in the match later, and they're like, oh, he's using Shawn Michaels' finisher. It's like, yeah, he's been doing that for years now. WWE chooses when they want to focus on something, and it's very inconsistent, and it gets on my nerves. Dolph continues, and he says, people are complaining on Twitter, and he says, well, I got 2 words for you. Too bad. I really like what Dolph is doing with the whole like Shawn Michaels wordplay right now. He brought up Goldberg again. This is the 4th time in 3 weeks that Dolph has brought up Goldberg. They have to be setting up a match, right? They have to be. He then told Miz that he was more afraid of Maurice than he was of Miz, and Miz probably is too. It was a pretty good line. Dolph is good on the mic. That's the thing. He's a very talented speaker, but he hasn't won in like forever. So like nothing means anything anymore. Like, how am I supposed to care about him if he doesn't win? I can't get into his promos if he doesn't win his matches. This doesn't work. Then we had Bayley and Ember Moon backstage. They're preparing for their tag match later. Bayley says she won't forget what Ember did to her last week, and if you plan on pulling anything like that again, you'll regret it. I do like this new twist on Bayley. She's not like this lovable hugger who trusts everyone and gets backstabbed, blah, blah, blah. This is actually very good. She actually she's refocused and it's working for her. She's the champ and she's been winning. I really like the storyline that they're doing with Bayley. Then we had Alistair Black in his closet. I mean, purgatory, I guess, is what they're calling it. He's just cutting Bray Wyatt promos. I think they just pulled old Bray Wyatt promos that he never got to and gave him to Alistair Black. They don't mean much until he gets to the end. Like, he says he feels different. How do I move on from here? It's just nonsense that doesn't mean anything. But then he, towards the end, he does say, I'm waiting again for someone to challenge me and for someone to pick a fight. So, okay, cool. So then we had Bayley and Ember Moon teaming up to take on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. One slight problem at the beginning, nitpicking here, but the nameplate when Alexa Bliss and Nikki came out said, like, it was Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross, like Nikki was the manager for a singles match or something. And just little mistakes that can be avoided. They bugged me. Yeah, this was a decent match. It showed Bayley and Ember Moon working together, but then the actual team of Nikki and Alexa, just getting the upper hand in heel ways. And eventually, Ember went for an Eclipse on Alexa, but Alexa pushed Nikki into the Eclipse. So then Alexa pushed Ember into the ring post and hit her with Twisted Bliss, pinned Ember Moon, and Nikki and Alexa won. Why would you pin your championship contender 2 weeks out of SummerSlam? That doesn't make any sense, especially since Alexa and Nikki aren't even going to be on the card. As of right now, they could still be thrown into something, or like a pre-show or something, but I thought that was a strange decision. After the match, Bayley was kind of helping Ember up, like, oh, are you okay? And then, boom, belly to belly, because Ember hit her with an Eclipse last week, and Bayley just kind of stood up and shrugged her shoulders. It was okay. And we had a Sami Zayn interview, and they asked Sami, what are you doing on SmackDown? And he said, well, he's scoping out the competition, and he sees Alistair Black. But Alistair isn't looking for a fight. He says Alistair is in pain, and it says he says he's looking for help. Okay, so then Sami says, that's exactly what I'll give him. I'll beat him up. I'll show him that he can't live up to the hype. And he says, and I'll do that at SummerSlam. So we are getting Sami Zayn versus Alistair Black. Super excited for that match. Oh, I can't wait. I'm a huge Alistair Black fan, so that's just going to be an incredible match. I actually can't wait for that. Then they announced that Big Show now has a comedy show on Netflix coming out soon. I'm pretty sure it's called The Big Show Show. I don't even care if it's good or not. I'm watching that. Like, 100% I'm going to watch it. Then we had a Daniel Bryan interview. They were saying throughout the night that Daniel Bryan was going to finally make his career-altering announcement. And the same thing as he did a couple weeks ago. He went up to the microphone, kind of sniffled like he was crying, and then just silently walked away. Okay. We'll eventually get to the announcement. I think I know what the announcement is because I've seen some reports, some rumors, but I won't say it just in case anyone else doesn't know. Then we had the King's Court with Jerry the King Lawler and his special guest, TRISH STRATUS. A couple notes I have written here. The King's throne looks like a gingerbread throne. It looked really, really fake and really bad. But no one even sat, like there was a throne and then like a fancy other chair for Trish, and neither of them sat down. Very unnecessary. Trish said that she missed the Raw reunion because she was on vacation and she really wanted to be there. Jerry said after the reunion, all the legends were talking about, if they could have one more match. I just think that was Vince asking every legend for one more match. So Jerry said, Trish, do you want one more match? And she said, well, I'm a mother. I have a lot of responsibilities. It's not really in the cards anymore. Charlotte interrupts and basically says that you're using being a mom as an excuse not to fight me. So then she challenges her to a SummerSlam match. There were chants of one more match from the crowd. Charlotte had the great line of saying, we're not models shaking our asses anymore. Great line. But then Trish fired back and said there would be no trail to Blaze if it wasn't for me. And she said, "You of all people should know, to be the woman, you have to beat the woman." She accepts the challenge. Trish versus Charlotte at SummerSlam. Can't wait for that. That should be really good. And we had the OC backstage talking about how they're the original, the official, the only club that matters. Then we had the Firefly Fun House. Love this stuff. Rambling Rabbit just says that Finn is his favorite and that he's Finn's biggest fan, but you know, he made a mistake challenging the Fiend. And then Bray just comes in and Rambling Rabbit like hides under the table, and Bray is like looking and he's super angry, and then he just looks up, he starts laughing, and he says, "Let me in." Really good. And then, you know, flickers of the Fiend. Really good stuff. Then we had Dolph Ziggler versus Finn Balor. Typical Dolph match. I just can't, like I said earlier, I don't care about Dolph anymore. Finn was about to go for a suicide dive when the lights cut out, you know, you know. And then the Fiend appeared on the stage, and Finn was just, you know, like he saw a ghost, or like he saw the Fiend. But then the lights go out again, and the Fiend is gone. Finn turns around and gets a super kick, or as they're calling it all of a sudden now, the Sweet Chin Music. Dolph won 1, 2, 3 over Finn. It looks like there's, I think they officially announced Dolph versus Miz at SummerSlam. No one wants it. That better be on the pre-show. No one wants to see that match. Then we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Ali. It was a quick, fast-paced match, and it was actually very good. These two are very talented. They work well together. And Ali won with a roll-up after several counters. So Ali pinned the Intercontinental Champion. That means he's probably getting an Intercontinental Championship match at SummerSlam. And then the main event match of the night, Kofi Kingston versus AJ Styles. Before the match, the New Day, Kofi had a great line. He said, "This is no longer the house that AJ Styles built. This is the palace of positivity." Great line. This match was super fast-paced because they didn't have a lot of time, so it looked like they were just getting through the spots as quickly as they possible. Super fast-paced, super chaotic because of the New Day and the OC outside of the ring. Those two played their parts very nice and very clean. It was very, very well done. Just an overall great match. OC pulled AJ out of a pin attempt after a top rope splash. The New Day and the OC argue, and they kind of get into it a little. Kofi then does a trust fall onto the OC, throws AJ into the ring. Gallows distracts Kofi. Neckbreaker from AJ. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm, but Kofi counters it into a Trouble in Paradise, like a catch Trouble in Paradise. Amazing spot. 1, 2, 3. Kofi beats AJ clean. What a finish. That, and you know what? That should have been the end of SmackDown. But then a quick cut, seconds after Kofi wins. They do a quick cut backstage. Roman is walking to the interview area to announce his SummerSlam opponent. All of a sudden, this big support wall, I don't even know what exactly to call it. It was one of those scaffold, I don't even know what to call it, but it was a big support wall, and it just all of a sudden falls on Roman, and then Roman just kind of gets up out of it right away. And the paramedics are checking on him, and he wants to leave, but the paramedics want to check on him, but he's fine. And then he just walks away. And that's how the show ended. It was really weird. They definitely should have just ended with Kofi and AJ. They should have tried to do that earlier, and then just ended with Kofi AJ. That would have been it was a very flat finish to what could have been a great finish to a very good episode of SmackDown. Like I said, building good feuds. I think they've been doing very well with how they're building these feuds. They're not doing two of the same thing. They're not repeating themselves. I think it's been very, very good, very interesting. I don't think it's damaging at all for AJ to take a loss to Kofi. Kofi's the WWE champion. I don't think that's damaging at all. I think it was a good match, and it made both of them look good. So we got one more Raw and one more SmackDown before SummerSlam. I cannot wait. It's going to be a fantastic weekend with TakeOver and SummerSlam. Me and the New Bullet Shield Day Club are going to be in Tomahawk watching that. We're going to make a whole weekend out of it. I'll probably make a bunch of videos, maybe one big collage video of all that. That's going to be super fun. Thank you for watching the 3-count review of SmackDown. I have been KO, and I will see you tomorrow for NXT.
She a California living, cognac sipping, choke blowing, candy flipping, sunshine vibe. Flew out for the show, had to pull her out the road. Now she hoping I could change her life.